Hello Gemini, and welcome to your April 2023 astrology forecast. Now Gemini, this is a very transformative month because we have a solar eclipse this month and also we have a Mercury retrograde this month. Now it's important for you to be aware, well, all of us, we all get affected by Mercury retrograde, but especially you because Mercury is your ruler as a Gemini. If you'd like to book a reading, there'll be a link down below for readings as well as a link for appreciation of these videos. Do like and subscribe so you're aware of the planetary movements. So, Gemini. And I do see this sometimes, so people say that being aware of Mercury retrograde, they're afraid that if they're aware of it, they might manifest basically the energy of Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde basically brings miscommunication, misunderstandings, mental fog, so we can forget appointments, we run late, we are met with more delays during this time, and we can also feel quite exhausted, like we're just mentally offline. We just don't have the capacity to take on more things. And I think we might even feel a bit more tired during this Mercury retrograde because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is a physical earth sign, so we could feel a bit more tired physically. So that being said, I don't believe personally that knowing about a Mercury retrograde helps us manifest those things. I feel that it's important to still hold on to positive manifestation and to focus on manifesting what you want to call into your life. I find Mercury retrograde though very effective for manifesting things that you want to complete. Period. Things you want to complete. Anything that you want to complete, Mercury retrograde is great for that. And Mercury, like if there was something you were doing in the past and you got distracted about it, you can complete it at this time. I also find Mercury retrograde very good and healing for things you want to let go of, especially when it comes to past experiences, defining boundaries within relationships, especially when it comes to miscommunication, conflict, and finally letting go of past experiences. And Mercury retrograde is really good if when it comes to finances and money that either you were owed or that can come through, like if you're waiting for a payment, it can get complete during a Mercury retrograde cycle because Mercury loves to complete things. It likes to bring things to completion. So if there's a project that you're working on prior to Mercury retrograde, you can actually get the reward for it during the Mercury retrograde cycle. So Mercury retrogrades are not bad. Yes, they bring delays, and we need to be more careful with the things that we do, right? Very true. But that's just life. And another thing that's also very important about a Mercury retrograde, like I don't feel like I've heard this comment recently, like I don't want to know about Mercury retrograde because Mercury retrograde is going to make me manifest bad experiences. Like now it's going to be even more hectic than prior. I don't feel that's true. I personally feel awareness is power. So when I'm going through a Mercury retrograde period, we all go through it, I like to know how the Mercury retrograde is impacting me so that I can handle the challenge a lot better. When I didn't know much about astrology, I would go through these periods of challenges and I would be like, why? Why am I stuck on the same thing? Why am I going through this period of challenge? And that's what obviously drew me to the path of astrology. And through the awareness of it, when I'm now dealing with conflict, I'm fully aware that it is a Mercury retrograde phase and how I handle it is a lot better. So that's what it's good for. It's the empowerment of knowing better. When we know better, we do better. When we have awareness, we have power. What we don't know is more harmful to us because things are happening and you're like, what is going wrong? Why is my laptop freezing? Why is my cell phone, because we do suffer from technology difficulties. We become more challenged during a Mercury retrograde phase. So that being said, and which then leads to conflict because now you're met with delays and frustrations and things have been working on your nerves and now you speak to someone and then you just completely let them have it, right? So that being said, I feel that the Mercury retrograde phase is great to know when a Mercury retrograde is happening so that you can actually utilize that time to be aware, okay, these delays and challenges are happening. I release it and I let it go. Like, okay, these challenges are happening. It won't last forever. It's just a phase and a period. This is not, the be all and end all. And I feel for Geminis, it's important for them to be aware of that, because Mercury being their ruler. So yes, it's a good time for completion of things. I use it for that. So on the 3rd, we have Mercury entering into this 12th house for you. And Mercury in the 12th house is about releasing, letting go, and thinking about past experiences. It's just before birthday time for you, right? So that is why in the month of April, you are releasing and letting go of things that you've been thinking about in the past. This will be a great time to clear out any past experiences. You might even not feel like communicating that much during this time and be needing more time in isolation, some downtime. Give yourself that. On the 5th, 6th, we have a full moon in your 5th house. The 5th house has to do with romance, love, passion, creativity. If you're an entrepreneur, this also impacts you, and also children. So this full moon, if you haven't been having fun of late, this full moon is telling you to have some fun, right? This would be a great time to do something that is fun, or really live a passion that you're feeling inspired by or passionate about, or go for it. This energy is telling you, go for it, enjoy life, have that moment. Have you not been enjoying life? What has been stopping you? If you are in a romance, this can also show up where things might have run stale in your romance and things need to change. So that's important to also happen. So you can come up with some romantic, drama, but it's telling you that things need to change, and relationships that are willing to change are the relationships that will last. Okay? And it's important if you have children. This full moon highlights maybe things that you need to work on when it comes to your kids. This might be like changing their routine, or having a bit of tension with your children and having to find a way in order to better communicate with your kids. And this will also be a time with the 5th house there that you might decide to do something fun with your children. This is a time also, if you don't have children, to really invoke your inner child and give yourself what you haven't had. Where have you, or what you haven't done in a long time, to have some fun. For entrepreneurs, changes that are coming to your creativity when it comes to any creative ideas that you have. Or creative writing, anything like that. Creativity is a big thing, and especially with Geminis. So this is really asking you, what needs to change? What have you been afraid to do creatively? How can you invest more in your creativity? On the 11th, Venus now will move into your 1st house. This is great for you. This makes you more magnetic, more charismatic. People are drawn to you. This is where you're also giving more to yourself, and others want to give to you too. Venus here is about love, luxury, and beauty. This makes you want to create harmony with yourself and thus with others. So you're really looking to create this harmonious energy around yourself. And it's really good for finances too, especially when it comes to goals that you have. On the 19th, 20th, depending on your location, new moon solar eclipse in your 11th house. A new beginning and a fresh start when it comes to your social circles and interactions with others. So think about the various social circles you have within your life. We have our family groups, we have our work groups, we have our gym groups, we have our spiritual groups. We all belong to different groups within our lives. And this new moon solar eclipse is asking you to really connect to new people. You'll be doing a lot of connecting to people because of this new moon solar eclipse, which will take you into the next 6 months. So this eclipse will be telling you, what type of people do you want to connect to? Where do you feel disconnected from people? This invites new connections into your life. And it also asks you to look at your future hopes and dreams and really go after it. And what can you do to really achieve that? It's a fresh start and a new beginning. On the 20th, the sun now will enter into this 12th house, rest and rejuvenation, which is preparing you for birthday time. And on the 21st, we have a Mercury retrograde in this 12th house until the 14th of May 2023. So this is telling you, remember we spoke about this Mercury retrograde period. The 12th house is the house of what have you been doing to sabotage yourself? What have you been doing to not believe in yourself? What have you been doing that breaks you down emotionally? Where have you been giving your energy away? Who have you been giving your energy away to? What situations you've been giving your energy away to? You will need a lot of rest during this time. This will be a great time for healing. This will be a great time for closure. This will be a great time for closing out old chapters. This is where you might even have conversations with people reminiscing about long-term past experiences. It's great and therapeutic for you to talk to, especially a friend or someone that you're close to get it out of your energy. Really good for completing any long-term projects you've been working on. So if there's something you've been working on for months, you can finally complete it during this time. You might even find people from your past reconnect to you during this time, especially from the long-term past. This is the 12th house, so it's like long-term past. And during this time, watch your communication because you'll be feeling pretty sensitive. The 12th house feels like I don't really, I feel mentally overwhelmed and this is affecting me emotionally and I'm needing some time to self. Give yourself time for yourself. Take a moment back. You don't need to communicate if you don't feel the need to communicate. This is really a time of downtime and looking at the past and how far you've come. What experiences maybe you are still holding on, which is sabotaging you right now. What experiences that you're giving your energy to that you need to put boundaries in and really focus on doing that. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a beautiful April. This is eclipse season, so this will be a transformative month. And be gentle with yourself.